All right, guys, so before we hop into this video of reviewing the Jaguar XF Supercharged V6, obviously you guys can see it snowed outside, but before we hop into the actual video of the review and some of the features and technology and how the car responds to the inclement weather and the drive modes that Jaguar has in place, I want to start inside here, and we're going to go to the Jaguar remote start because obviously it's cold outside. And as I get to the home screen here, it kind of gives me just the overview like we mentioned in the previous video. But the remote start, after I put my pin in, allows me to see if the doors are locked, and I can go ahead and just hold that just like that, and it will start the car. Pretty freaking awesome. And there you guys go. That thing is running nicely out there, so I'm gonna give that a few minutes before we hop into this video. Alright boys, so we have this car set in winter mode, and last night I took this thing out before they started plowing the roads, which sometimes is better to drive in than when they plow it, and it handled it like a beast. I mean, I didn't film it because the camera battery was dead, but it was about 5-6 inches of snow at that point, and I just kind of drove locally, didn't go anywhere far just in case, but the way the car handled it was just priceless. I mean, let's see if this guy lets me through here. Hold on. All right. These guys are cleaning up, so it's actually good I left so they can get my driveway. So going uphill, the car like allows you to give it some really good gas and move it. The traction control light will come on a little bit if you leave it on, and of course it does kind of auto correct, but it kind of constantly is adjusting power to each of the wheels. And when I go uphill, it's a little bit more free on letting me gas the car and give it some power. And then when I'm going on a downslope, it actually becomes a little bit more restrictive on the pedal. It kind of pushes back a little bit or refuses the power input a little bit when you're going on a downhill. Of course, you can override that if you give it more gas on the pedal, but it was pretty intuitive. The car seemed to constantly adjust its power outputs and inputs of all of that with the suspension accordingly, which was pretty impressive. If you guys can understand how that is, it's if you're not used to driving in the snow, it's, you know, if you're giving a car too much gas, it's gonna just lose traction. So the less torque and the less gas, the more traction it will keep. So obviously, if you were to turn the wheel in 6 inches of snow, the car would drift a little bit, which is like, you know, any car. So that's nothing crazy, but it was just really the way it handled the power, input, output, and of course, you know, it's all about just taking it easy. And if you guys watched my initial review of this car in the last episode, I did a little preview of this video in the snow where the car actually will slow itself down to 10 miles an hour in a snowstorm, in the snow mode. I'm not sure if it does it in the normal mode because I haven't really messed with it, because in normal driving I'm okay to hit the brakes, but in a snowstorm when it's really snowy, you typically do not want to hit brakes. I'm giving this to you live updates on the snowstorm because it's actually really fascinating. I have the car in the snow function obviously, and I just approached a red light, and instead of braking, I let the car just kind of come to a coast, because that's what you do in a snowstorm. If you guys are watching that aren't used to driving in the snow, you try not to brake too much, right? The car actually slowed itself all the way down to 6 miles an hour before I either had to brake or accelerate, and in this case obviously the light turned green, so I accelerated. But what I was just trying to get at is that it self-sustained itself all the way down very slowly, and that's obviously with my inputs of not giving it gas or any braking, which was pretty amazing for snow. I've never experienced that before, so I figured I'd share that with you, because obviously the Brits build cars for snow. They got snow in their world, so it's some good engineering. So here we go. We're approaching this red light. I'm completely off the gas here, and I'll just show you guys how this thing seems to function. And the car is already braking and slowing itself down. I'm literally doing no inputs at all. The car completely just brought it down to 10 miles an hour, and now I'm gonna hit the brake. So here we are. This is not plowed here. You guys can watch me give it a little bit of gas, and it just kind of moves its way right through like nothing. Pretty cool. So yeah, it slows itself down to 10 miles an hour, and then you obviously can engage the brakes, which at that speed is not anything dangerous. As long as you can come to a stop, you're not gonna hit anything. So that's pretty neat. And we got the plows out today, so that's cool. I'm probably the only one. No, I'm not the only car out the road, so I don't feel like an asshole. Try to get past these plow trucks, because who needs a plow truck when your car's good in the snow? Just kidding. So here, guys, I'll give you guys a little preview of the storm. By the way, having the remote start was pretty awesome. I got outside, and the windshield and the rear window were already de-iced. All I had to do was just run a brush through it, and everything was solid. So pretty cool. Most of this storm hit through the night. It started late afternoon last night, so they had all day and all night, or they had all night, all early morning here to clear the roads, which they've obviously done a decent job. Some would call this a good delay opening kind of a day, if you are in a area where snow happens. So pretty dirty out here. And of course my new car is no longer clean. So that's a little action for you on the Jaguar in the snow. The car weighs between 3,400 and 3,900 pounds depending on how it's spec'd out. So I'm just gonna tell you that this car weighs about 3,600 pounds, 3,700 pounds, which is not that heavy for a full-size sedan. If you guys are following me on the channel, I just sold my 2012 Volvo S60, and that car weighs about the same as this, and that car was smaller than this car. So in terms of weight, this car is fairly light for its actual size, and it feels heavier than what it is on the road, which is what it should as a luxury car. A lot of my old Saabs, a lot of the old Saabs that I have, the 9.5 for instance, also feels really heavy on its feet, and it helps it in the snow. I don't know if it literally helps it in the snow, but it does help in the snow. But it also in your mind, it makes you feel a little bit more confident on how the car's handling and how it feels. Because if anybody's ever driven like a Toyota or a Hyundai or any of these light Japanese cars in the snow, Honda for instance, they have they literally, the older ones at least, I don't know about the new cars, there's like very little limit on the torque, and you can constantly spin tires, and the car feels super light on its feet, if you will. And when you're driving in weather, it's really uncomfortable when you're in a car that's constantly fishtailing and all over the place. It's like you can't even feel any sense of grounding. And I guess at the end of this right now, at the end of this thought, is that this car feels very grounded and planted to the road, especially in a snowstorm. So that's the review of this car in the snowstorm. So if you guys are looking for a nice car, really nice car in my humble opinion, and that's reliable and good in the weather, Jaguar is definitely not a bad car. I am certainly enjoying this. Alright, so I'm heading up towards where my parents live and help them clear out some snow. And you guys can just see how nicely they already took care of the roads here. So it should be interesting as we get into the development what it's like, because they live on a mountain here. Typically the snow is about 3 to 4 inches more, sometimes even more than that, than what it is here. So keep you guys posted. Alright guys, here we go. It is pretty clean, not gonna lie here. Crushing it here. I'm hitting all this slush, the car doesn't even like flinch from it. It's pretty awesome. No problem. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe. We are ending the video where we started it, but car is amazing so far, so much more reviews to come. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. It's a little bit different than what we normally do on the typical Saab stuff, but reviews are reviews, and you got to put them out there because you got to spread the love to the world about these cars so people can learn about them. So please follow me at Kyle Pancis if you guys have any questions or would like to reach out to me. And also, please don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys next video. Thank you so much.